Yeah, in 1977, my mum had Harley and brought him back from the hospital, and my first impression was just of a kid that was basically the run of the litter. I mean, I was only 3 years old at the time, but I still remember how sickly he was, and he looked too flashy. He sort of like had this red sort of tinge to his skin, and he just looked like little blood blisters or something all over his body. It was really sickly and crying all the time, and he cried loudly. I sort of grew up for a long time resenting him because I was young. I didn't realise he was genuinely ill. I just thought he was crying because he wanted attention, and he was just some kid that complained all the time or whatever. But later on we found out, as he got a bit older, he was diagnosed with chronic asthma, and he had a real bad hernia when he was about 4 years old, nearly killed him. So he's always in hospital. We'd get pulled out of school with a massive asthma attack, and one thing after another. It just seemed like he spent half his school life, in hospital, and missed out a lot of education and that. But in his spare time, before he got into cycling and that, and fishing, because he wasn't always a vegan, we used to go fishing. He was quite an avid fisherman, believe it or not, for a while. And mainly we'd just throw the fish back. I mean, I never liked the taste, and he sort of ate fish and tuna and that a bit, and sardines, but he never really killed too many of the fish he ate. Really, it was just a hobby. Get us out in the sunshine and fresh air, down by the water, I suppose, down in the Hillary's Jetty, Ocean Reef and that, in Perth, Western Australia. And but he always just had this thing about nature. I mean, he'd always catch spiders and put them in jars, and we'd watch the mating ritual. To have 2 huntsmen like this, and then in the morning he'd wake up and one of the huntsmen would just be a pile of legs, and the female obviously would eat them and look a bit fatter the next day. And we just know exactly which tree to peel the bark back from, and find the hugest spiders, and they'd be that big they'd fall out of the tree, and you could hear them running through the leaves like you thought it was a snake or something, running around. And he just knew where to find stuff, and just studied. He knew a lot more about animals, like he knew all the dinosaurs' names, and all the other kids, were in awe of how much he used to know all the species of fish and insects, spiders and dinosaurs. And growing up, he was always reading books on them, and he had a lot of pictures he did of dinosaurs and all sorts of any picture he did basically had an animal in it. So it's the dog next door. So he got his first bicycle. I think he was about age 11 or 12. It was a yellow Indy 500 BMX, which actually taught him how to ride. And these days he's come a long way now. He's teaching me, obviously. He's a lot fitter than I am. But I'm getting there. I bought a new bike last week. I like the cyclocross bikes. They're a bit more durable and that. And the TCR, so I got a TCX, and because he said Giant's the way to go, so I figured why not. He obviously knows what he's talking about. And so he rode his push bike from Adelaide to Perth once, across the Nullarbor. It took him 2 weeks to do 2,000 odd Ks. And he was that suntanned. I hadn't seen him for about 20 years. Because growing up, he was always the pasty, skinny little kid that he was a real fussy eater. I remember him at meal times. He wouldn't eat enough, and Mum would have to recook meal after meal, and he'd be that fussy. I didn't realise it was Crohn's disease and it was making him sick or whatever. probably give him a bad stomach ache. But yeah, he rode his bush bike all the way over, and I thought, he used to be chronic asthmatic. Now he's riding it from one side of Australia to the next, and it's just amazing. I shook his hand, and I could feel the life just pulsing through his veins. Basically, I've never actually shook someone's hand and experienced quite that sort of that life. He really impressed me, and he lives the life that many of us don't. I suppose it was spurred on by his many health issues. He faced death so many times growing up, and we used to go visit him in hospital all the time, and we never really thought he was going to make it. Half the time, it was touch and go. And still remember spending a lot of the 80s, early to mid 80s in hospital in Adelaide, just watching him on a ventilator and trying new drugs that would help his lungs clear the phlegm or whatever. He's always trialing new medications and different sort of puffers, and he's always on asthma spray and Ventolin or whatnot. So it was just lucky for him that he was into nature, and he was quite a smart kid. He'd do some real good drawings, and sort of an indicator of his intelligence, I suppose, how good an artist he was. And he looked after himself eventually when he changed his diet, that's for sure, because I don't think he'd be around if he hadn't have done. It was do or die, I suppose, when it come down to it. So he helped me become vegan. My mum's come vegan too. So, but one time I think it was what really got him into cycling, because BMX was one thing. He used to ride it a little bit, but eventually he got this bike because Mum felt sorry for him, because she let his bird escape out of the cage when she was cleaning it one day, and he wouldn't stop crying, and she felt bad, so she bought him a mountain bike, and a Shogun alloy frame mountain bike back before the days of carbon, 20 odd years ago. He was about 15, I think. And I used to take care of that bike. It was a decent bike back in the day, and you'd clean every spoke after each ride and clean the chain, and would let me ride it. One time I jumped on one of his other bikes. So I think he had two bikes at the time. He had a racing one and the skinny wheels, road racer, and he wouldn't let me ride it. And one time I just jumped on it because it was sitting outside his house or whatever. And I heard him yelling out behind me, "Don't go down the curb, you're going to buckle the wheel." But, he used to care about the bikes, and the bikes are just it for him. He's always, been passionate about the bikes, I suppose, and he sort of treated them better than he would his own girlfriend or wife, I suppose. That's why he never got married, but who knows? Maybe he's changed. He seems to leave his bikes out in the dust and stuff a bit nowadays. I suppose he's got a bit more money and a few more bikes, so he's not as fast. But speaking of fussy, he was a really, really fussy eater. He wouldn't, eat nothing unless, it was all organic or whatever, I don't know, but I always remember how fussy he was. It was so frustrating. At dinner time, I'd just eat what Mum gave me, because that's why we were brought up. We weren't, brought up in a fancy, neighbourhood, or, we only had a single mum and there wasn't much money, and he was saying, "Oh no, cook me this, cook me that, I don't want to eat that." And, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was probably steaks and this and that, which probably wasn't helping his Crohn's disease, which he was undiagnosed at the time, obviously. But he's always just really fussy, and but he's come good, and he's inspiring people every day now. So I sort of forgive him now. I'm proud of him, That's why I'm making this video, just to sort of let everyone know that, he's come real good, and good on you, bro. Give us a thumbs up and yeah, comment on this video, just in case people doubt that I'm really your brother and I'm not just trying to get views. Yeah. But anyway, I've got a link down below if you want to check out my artwork, so you can find out a little bit more about me anyway. And yeah, I've got other videos if you want to watch them. So yeah, thanks for watching this one, and yeah, I'll get it uploaded. See ya.